Hello and welcome to another episode of the Battle Inside podcast. My name is Chris America, and I am your host of this podcast that is documenting and following my journey to a better state of mental health and just overall, just a better emotional health, mental health, physical health. I'm just trying to get healthy, guys. It's what I'm trying to do and trying to help myself while at the same time hopefully being a positive impact to you, the listener, or maybe to help you be a positive impact to somebody else in your life that you know is going through a hard time. If you're new to the show, if this is the first episode you're listening to, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. And if this is your 7th episode listening in, awesome. That's really great. I'm loving that there's people that have been following this episode by episode and checking up on me and seeing how I'm doing and reaching out to let me know that they're thinking of me and that I'm on their mind and that they support me and they're cheering for me and they're in my corner like I talked about last week. It's been a blessing, this podcast, more than I ever thought imaginable. I've never been this open, this honest to anybody, let alone anybody who decides to click play on this podcast and listen to me talk. And I gotta say, being open and being honest has been so freeing. It's weird. This whole time I've been scared and hesitant to let anybody in, to let people hear my pains and my sorrows and my problems and my issues, to let people in my head to hear what I'm thinking. And I mean, it still is a little bit nerve-wracking, but overall, I feel good. I feel good about just, I don't know if it's just telling the truth all the time or just not hiding the truth, not omitting the truth, just always being honest with myself and honest with other people. So it's been good. It's been a good week. I know I left off Sunday was my last episode. Today is Wednesday, May 8th. Wednesday, May 8th, 2019. So if you're listening to this in 2025, sweet. My podcast is still around. And that means people are still interested in it. And I appreciate you going all the way back to 2019 in a time machine to listen to where I was on May 8th, 2019. And that's kind of why I decided to do this podcast this way, where I'm documenting it as I go. That it's not one of those, hey, I'm out of the woods and look at me, I'm better now, and this is how I did it. And you're going to hear me sounding happy and chipper. No, I want you to be able to go in a time machine and find the Chris America who is utterly disparaged. Is that the right word? In despair, at the lowest of my lows, and hear what that sounds like, and then follow me through on this journey, which a lot of you have. And again, I'm really appreciative of it, to hear me grow as a person, hear me heal my mind, hear me heal my emotions, and hear me make mistakes, pick myself back up, and keep going. So that's what I'm doing. So since Sunday, Monday was the month anniversary of my suicide contemplation on April 6th. Again, if you missed that episode, go to episode 1, scroll through, search Scout Team Radio, scroll through our episodes, because I do have that sports show every single weekday morning, 6 to 7 on 12 Ounce Sports Radio. Shameless plug. What? Yeah, sorry, tangent. What was I saying? Oh yeah, scroll through the Scout Team Radio episodes and look for the ones labeled TBI, episode number, and then title of episode. So look for those. Look for TBI 1, TBI episode 1, I was in a dark place. And start from there. And go all the way up till 2025 if you are truly listening from the year 2025. And hopefully I will be doing much better than I am now, and things will be good, because I'm on a positive outlook in life right now. And I'm feeling good tonight. Today was a little rough at the beginning. I'll tell you a little bit about that. But Monday was good. I posted a couple of videos on Twitter and Facebook letting everybody know that has been following me and maybe hasn't been following me too closely or hasn't really listened to the podcast that, hey, I'm doing good. I'm actually doing really good. And I don't want you guys to worry about me anymore, because I'm not only doing good, but I'm working hard to stay good. I'm working hard. I've been busting my ass for the last month to do therapy, to do a lot of crying, a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling, a lot of talking it out with several people in my support group. I don't have a support group like I go to meetings. I just meant like friends who support me. Not saying anything bad about support groups, but just trying to clarify. And my mind wanders and over talks sometimes and over explains, as I'm still doing right now. All right. Yeah, so my support system, lots and lots of talks with lots and lots of people. Glad they were able to let me be honest and open with them about what I was feeling and not pass judgment, and it's been good. So I had to let people know who I don't talk to every day and who've kind of just been watching in the wings, knowing that a month ago I contemplated suicide seriously, but haven't really been following me much closer. So I wanted to just reassure everybody that I dropped the bomb on, like, hey, I just contemplated suicide, that I was doing okay, and that I'm doing a lot better, and that I'm working really, really hard to get better. And more people reached out that didn't even know. I guess they missed, my social media post, which happens. It's fine. Whatever. I'll still send them a Christmas card. But I mean, come on, more likes, please, more attention. No, I'm just kidding. Probably gonna be a lot of that today. This is what happens when I'm in a good mood. Is I kind of just wander. It's what makes my sports show so good. Anyways, so Monday was good. Tuesday, was it Tuesday? Maybe it was Monday. I don't know which day it was. I'd have to look. But I get a message from the ex that kind of surprised me. Oh, it was Monday because she told me that Cub Scouts was canceled. And she told me that she hopes that I'm well. And anytime in the next few weeks, if I want to get a cup of coffee or, meet somewhere to talk, that'd be great. And I didn't know how to respond. I honestly got anxious right away because she still drives my anxiety a lot, even though I'm working on it. She's definitely a trigger for me because of just so many things that she chose to do and chose to handle it. And again, I'm not going to get into it. That's not what this podcast is about. Anyway, so I think about all the things that she's done. And luckily the loop has stopped. Before, I mentioned that there's a loop that plays in my head that goes over from beginning to end, everything that's gone down, everything that was said, everything that was done, everything that was, everything I've ever possibly thought about it, and then just plays over again. So luckily that doesn't happen anymore, but I still get feelings of anxiety and feeling of anxiousness and worthlessness anytime I see her or text her or talk to her. It's just, I'm trying to get under control, and I'm trying to get better at that. And I'm doing a lot better because I saw her Friday, I mentioned that, and I was doing fine that whole time. But now this is a new thing. She's wanting to talk. And so I told her, hey, I asked you for a month the last time I corresponded with you. Is that still okay? I still need a month. I think you still need a month to get your stuff right, and I need to get a month to get my stuff right, and let's talk then. And she said, of course, so that was good to hear. And I asked her if she was getting help. She said yes. So I was really glad to hear that because, I still care about her. And I'm always going to care about her, and I want to see her do well for herself. I want to see her life improve, and I want to see her improve on herself and everything else. But I was glad to hear that, and hopefully that goes a long way to helping us find a way to mend our bridge, mend our friendship, so that way we can move on with life. Hopefully as friends, if not, at least to where we're in each other's lives for the boys. Because I love her son, she loves my son, her son loves me, and my son loves her. And I don't want to stop that. It's just, I know it's kind of weird for everybody else to think like, no, once you're done, you should move on and move on for the kids and forget about them. And it's like I can do that. If I have to do that, I will. But I don't want to. I loved her son like he was my own, and I helped raise him for the last 3 years, and he's been a big part of my life, and I've been a big part of his. And it's, if I had my druthers, I would, obviously I would want to stay, and I want her to be in my son's life because he loves her and he misses her a lot, and he's taking it hard, but we're working on that. I forgot to mention this. I always do. I even wrote it down this time, but just didn't even look over at my notes. But I am not a doctor. I am not a licensed therapist, a licensed guidance counselor, a licensed grief counselor, a licensed life coach. I'm just Chris America. I'm just a guy with a microphone, just telling you my perspective on my own mental health and my own way of dealing with my own life and my own situations. So results may vary. So I hope that you are inspired by me, but I don't want you to necessarily be like, oh, well, Chris America did this, so I have to do this, and that's going to work for me, and boom, it doesn't. Because, like I said, results may vary. I'm just hoping really that this inspires you to want to change your life and figure out ways to do that and to bust your ass to help yourself with your mental health or your maybe some trauma in the past. I don't know what it is, but you clicked on this show for a reason, and if not for mental health or trauma, maybe it's to help you understand those who do and those who have been through the things that I've been through, or those who've been through things that I haven't been through, but they're still traumas. And if you're not a person with mental illness and you've never suffered a trauma, hopefully this show can maybe help open your eyes and help you commiserate and empathize with us that do, and have a better understanding and have a better relationship with those that do. But yeah, so that was on Monday. Tuesday was good. Had a good day. Oh, so I kind of asked her what she wanted to talk about. She said life. This is going to be verbatim. She said life, moving forward, the kids, etc. And so I told her that would sound great, but I still need that month, and I think she needs that month. I think she needs to work out a few things before she comes and says anything to me, whether it's an apology or not an apology. I don't know what it truly is that she's looking to accomplish with this talk, because I was afraid to ask. I didn't want to, I kind of wanted to know, but I didn't want to know, because I don't know that if I can handle her just saying, like, I just want to, I don't know. I have to accept that I probably will never get what I'm looking for, and that's a full-on apology and admittance to herself and to me, everything that she did wrong to me, and that just a full-on sincere apology for everything from beginning to end in my loop. And I know I'm probably never going to get that, and I'm working on accepting that. So I don't really know what she wants to talk about. I only have hope. That's it. And so since I don't really know what it is, and she kind of gave me the okay to wait a whole month, I even asked her, like, to help me out with the anxiety, if she could make an effort to just send me a message every once in a while saying, hey, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Just so I know that, I don't know, just so I can feel like she cares about me as a person again. Because she hasn't done that since end of March. She hasn't shown that she cares. And so that's the other part that's hard for me, is it's hard for me to be around somebody that told me they loved me for 3 years, and now they don't. And they don't only just not love me anymore, but they don't want to care about me or support me, or even just something as simple as saying, how's your day going? But again, that's something that I have to work on with or without her and accept. But she did say she'd make an effort. We'll see. We'll see how it happens. But Tuesday was good. And then today happened. Today was a trying day for me. Today was, my anxiety got ramped up pretty good. And it started out with the ex sending me a message about money and a check that I had received for my FSA check for some medical bills. And so I cashed it. And I guess apparently she thought I told her that I wouldn't cash it, that she could have it. And I said, I don't remember that, but I need the money. I'm looking to buy a house. Yep, I've decided to purchase a home. That was another thing that happened Tuesday. I'll go back to that. But and I didn't choose any of this. So I don't know what she wants from me. And it was a little bit of a back and forth, nothing negative, nothing nasty, but it was just more just, she's not there yet. It's just more, what about me, and think about what I'm going through too, and my finances, and I just did what I've been doing the last few times to help me out with her. And that's just stand up for myself and respectfully ask her to try to put herself in my perspective. She wanted to get on me about not keeping my word, about that she could have the check. And I'm like, look, I don't even know if I should be talking about this. I'm sorry. I rambled on. Long story short, I just told her, this is how you made me feel. You broke promises, and now you're trying to come to me and tell me to keep my word. And can you please just respectfully give me the month that I asked for? And please start considering all the things that you say and do and how they affect me. And that it's just crazy to me that you want to come to me and talk to me about my word on just a tiny bit of money, but I'm supposed to just like roll over and take it, that you broke way bigger promises to me. I don't know. I just don't get it. But so that started off my anxiety. Then I had a psychiatrist appointment that I was running late for. So I'm stuck in traffic. That gets my anxiety going. I get there 8 minutes late. I missed my turn, and the next light didn't have a U-turn. So in my frustration and anxiety, I decided to do a U-turn over a curb, and I could hear a little bit of it scrape at the bottom of my car, so that stressed me the hell out. And so I'm just kind of, the anxiety is going. My foot's tapping. And so I get to the appointment. I get checked in. I was 10 minutes late. So I'm like, all right, hopefully it's fine. Whatever. Doctors are late all the time. And then a fire alarm starts going off. And it is loud and obnoxious. And I'm just sitting in the waiting room with this fire alarm going off. And it was just them doing whatever, like fixing it. I don't know. But there wasn't a fire. And it just went on for what felt like hours. But it was probably more like 5, maybe 10 minutes. It was a long time. And I'm sitting here texting a friend like, man, I got this going on. I got that going on. I got this going on. Like, my anxiety is just, I need to calm myself down. I need to not let her get the best of me. I need to not let the traffic get the best of me. And I need to not let this alarm get the best of me. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, I got to go to work after this. And then they took an hour to come see me. Like, my appointment was at 8 and had to go at 9. And it took them an hour to see me. And so it was trying. But the good news is I can recognize it now, that this is anxiety, that this is something that is out of my control but is in my control. That I can kind of just admit, all right, Chris, just stay calm. This is just a feeling and an emotion and a thought that your brain, for whatever reason, sends you into this mode for when this kind of stuff happens to you. So just write it out. It's gonna be okay. Your body will eventually and your brain will eventually calm down. You will eventually get over this moment. Don't let it get the best of you. Just stay calm. And that's what I did. And I just continued talking to my friend. I continued looking at stuff on Twitter, joking about things from the show, like Blink 182 is better than Sum 41. That was a whole thing this morning. Don't ask me. I'm not into that kind of music. But yeah. So, that's my update. Oh yeah, I went and got pre-qualified for a house. Pretty excited about that. A little stressful looking at the market right now. It's a little higher than I want it to be. I'm very, very picky with my money. I actually found out yesterday that because I don't have any debt, I have a good credit score, but not a great credit score because I have no debt. Like, my debt is my car payment, and I have a credit card that has a $200 max limit on it, and it's zeroed out. It's got nothing on it. So the guy's like, you gotta get more debt to get more credit. And I was like, this is so stupid. Like, so because I'm good with my money and because I don't borrow and I don't put myself in debt, that means I'm a bad person to loan money to? Like, makes no sense. The system's rigged. I hate it. Anyways, so that was good news. I'm excited about it. Gonna go look at a couple of houses this weekend. Hopefully find a couple more to look at. Get Landon excited about it. And start the next chapter of my life. I'm ready for it. Excuse me. So last episode I talked about anger, and I meant to talk about regrets, but I kind of went over. I don't know what happened. Sometimes I just get going. And so I'm going to talk about regrets today. And anger and regrets are kind of the same thing. One's more towards yourself and the other's towards others, although you can be angry at yourself. They're both useful in doses, and they're both needed to help you in life. Like with grief, anger is a stage that you need to go through. You just need to do it properly and not wait for it for long. And excuse me, I keep burping. I'm sorry. So anger is a stage. I don't know if regret's a stage. I didn't memorize the 5 stages of grief. I know denial and acceptance is 2, so maybe regret's in there. I don't know. Bargaining, I think that's 1. Who knows? So regrets and anger, I kind of liken to like a campfire. And what I mean is, fire is bad and it's good, and then it has its uses. So if you're camping, you need a fire to make some good hot dogs. Maybe grill up, maybe put some marshmallows on there. Have yourself some s'mores, keeps you warm, and it's good for when you need it. But then when you're done needing it, and when you have no more use for it, you got to put it out. And you got to put it out properly. You got to make sure that you pour on a ton of water, you drown the hell out of all of the wood, and you throw some dirt on it, and you mix it up, and you make sure that it is completely out. Absolutely under no circumstances are you supposed to just leave it and walk away, or just let it die out and go to bed. Because when it does that, you run the risk of it spreading, getting out of your control, and consuming your life to where you can't control it anymore and you're worse off than you were before. So I want you to think of anger and regret like a campfire. Or that's how I think of it. You can think of it however you want. Because again, I'm not a licensed life coach or a therapist. But that's how I view it. Something that I need to use wisely, safely, with precautions taken, do all the right measures that I need to do, and then once I'm done using it, I move on. So the way that I did that with anger last week was I told you guys that because I was angry with her, I had to tell her what I was angry about, and then I had to come and ask her for peace. Because I want peace. I want peace in my life. I don't want to resent her. I don't want to be angry with her. I don't want to hate her. I want to be at peace with her. And I needed to ask for it, put it out in the universe, and at least I know that I did my part to try. Now, she has to do her part, and maybe she's doing it. Maybe she showed promise that with the one messages on Monday, maybe she's still a million miles away with her messages today. I don't know, but I can't worry about her. I have to accept what she chooses, and I have to worry about me and focus on me, so that's what I'm doing. So then I talked about anger last week, talked about all the things that I was angry about, and I talked a lot about her. Maybe it was fair, maybe it wasn't fair. I listened back to the episode, and I thought it was pretty fair. I thought, I don't know, maybe I pat myself on the back, and you guys can tell me I'm wrong, but I think I handled it the best that I could without getting angry during the show and without saying things that were hurtful or mean or throwing mud. I felt like I did a pretty decent job. So now we're going to talk about me and my mistakes and all the things that I do wrong and my regrets. And one of the ways that I've been learning how to deal with regrets is, for me, I have to learn from them, and I have to grow from them, and I have to use them to help me change, and then that's the only way I can release them. So, first one, I've said it a million times on this episode, or on this show, not getting help sooner and recognizing it sooner. I'm going to tell you guys the story of the first time I committed or attempted suicide. When I was 19, no, I was 20. But I'll tell that later, towards the end. But this has been an issue for me since 20. Maybe a lot sooner, but the whole, having suicide ideation from time to time has been a problem for a while. And my problem is that I don't recognize medium to minor depression and medium to minor anxiety because I don't have suicide ideations. So I think I'm okay. So when I'm losing my cool and then I calm myself down 30 minutes later, maybe less, I just think that that's me just being angry. I don't think of it as me being uncontrollable with my anxiety and that it's an issue that I need to control and that I need to get handled. There were a lot of fights that her and I would have that my anxiety would go so high that I'm just screaming to where she has to say something like, "Do you hear yourself right now?" And I'd have to stop because I do. And at the time, I just thought, no, I'm angry. And when you're angry, you yell, and that's what you do because that's what my dad did. And I'm not hitting her. I'm not pushing her. I'm not calling her names. I'm just yelling my point because my point needs to be heard. And that wasn't good. And that wasn't healthy for me. It wasn't healthy for her. And it wasn't healthy for the boys. And there's other things that she would say to me, like with my depression, like, I feel like you're just never happy enough. I feel like you're never satisfied. I feel like you have no motivation, no drive. Those are two things that she pointed out a lot when she left. And I didn't recognize that as depression. I didn't recognize any of it. I just thought it was just normal life. This is what life does. It gets you down. You get tired. You get anxious. You get mad. You get sad. You get whatever. But now that I'm out of the woods and I'm able to look back at all the things, because that's what I do when a relationship ends. I do try to just self-reflect, and even if it may not be my entire fault as to why the relationship ended, I know that I'm not perfect, and there's things that I need to work on to make my next relationship work. And so that's what I did, and I took stock of these things. And I regret not getting help sooner. I regret her not getting help sooner. Me asking for both of us to get help sooner, to not recognize things with her and things with me, and us getting marriage counseling sooner. So I said I like to try to learn from things and everything, but this is a regret that's hard to learn because when it comes to relationships or just any mistake really, even like if I get in a car accident, I start doing the butterfly effect game where I sit there and I think, like, especially with a car accident, like, oh man, I remember I went back into the house to go get my sunglasses and then went into the car. And if I didn't go back in the house to go get my sunglasses, or if I would have remembered them the first time, I wouldn't have hit this car. I would have been 5 seconds behind, and we wouldn't have crashed into each other. And so I do that with my relationships too, especially this one, because I can sit there and say, oh, if I would have done this, and this, we would be together. Problem with that is this, and this didn't happen, and we're not together. And so now with this regret, I think I just have to use acceptance. It didn't happen, and you're not together, and it sucks. And there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do to change the past. You don't have a time machine. You're not Doctor Strange. You're not Doc Brown. You're not Ant-Man. You cannot go back and do anything. So you're stuck. So you have to accept it. And then with the other parts about where I should have recognized it sooner, well, what am I doing now? I'm recognizing it now. And I feel old at 35, but somewhere listening is a 50, 55, 70-year-old person saying, dude, you're still young. You still got the life ahead of you. You're finding out at the right time. Go get your self-help, and you're doing awesome. Go do it. So that's what I'm doing. My next regret kind of goes along with this, not recognizing it sooner. I regret holding all of my baggage and not taking care of that sooner. I read this thing that says that if you don't heal your wounds from somebody else, you'll bleed all over the people who didn't cut you. And that's one of my biggest issues and my biggest regrets with this relationship is from the start, I told her that I had issues with trust, issues with relationships. I had fear of commitment because of all the divorces and all the breakups and heartaches that I've been through, and I made it loud and clear, like, this is where I'm at. It's gonna take me a while to trust. It's gonna take me a while to believe in your love. It's gonna take me a while to give myself completely over to you and tear down my walls. And damn it, the hell, like, I'll give it to her, man. She took it in stride. She handled it like a champ, and she took on that burden, and it was unfair. And I've since apologized for that. I should have never done that. And so I can't change that past. This relationship's over, and I just have to get help now and take care of my luggage now, and don't get into a relationship until it's done, until I'm ready to be that person that I need to be. Be that husband, be that boyfriend, be that whatever. This kind of goes again, like all these regrets kind of tie together. Not doing more, not cleaning more, not being more romantic, not giving myself up more, not being more honest and open with her about anything. As far as like my problems, my feelings, my baggage, my past, just not doing more in the relationship. I know I've said a lot that I was great in this relationship. I've done a lot, and I did. But unfortunately, when somebody leaves you, you still feel like you just didn't do enough, that your best wasn't good enough, and you should have done more. And to help me with this regret, I'm kind of just saying, no, Chris, you did a lot, and anybody would be lucky to have you with everything you did for her. And now you get to improve on that. Now you get to be an even better boyfriend and an even better husband. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on myself to be a better man and a better person to the next person that I'm with. Next regret. Not telling my dad how I feel and holding on to the anger so long. Listen to episode 3, my battle with worthlessness, if you need the history on that. But I'm still angry at my dad, and he's been dead for 3 years. Going on 4 this November. And I'm kind of over it. Like, he's gone. He's pieced out. Never going to see him again. Nothing's ever going to change about the situation. So the only person I'm hurting by being angry is myself. And the only person I'm hurting by regretting not saying anything to him is myself. So he doesn't get to feel pain anymore. He's freed from that. And I'm stuck with it. So I'm working on my therapist with that. I don't know how to deal with that regret yet. I'm sorry. I don't have an answer there. You can kind of hear my mood change too. Not getting Landon help. There's been a long time that Landon's been struggling with depression, and a long time he's been struggling with school and paying attention and getting good grades, especially in math, and understanding it and dealing with his emotions with stress and anxiety, and I just didn't know what to do. I handled it poorly. I didn't get help soon enough. We handled it poorly. All of us in his life. That's me, his mom, and my ex. We didn't do anything bad. I don't want you to sit here and think that I did something totally obscene to my son. It was just frustrating. It made me depressed. It gave me anxiety because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to help him, and I didn't do enough to get him help. And the one thing that my ex did do right, not the one thing, she did a lot of things right, guys. I'm sorry. I don't want you to sit here and think I'm talking bad about her the whole time. One of the many things she did right during the relationship was push me to get him help. And I don't know why I fought her, but I did, and I regret doing that too. It's just, I guess I just didn't want to admit to my son that he's got all my traits and that he's got all my mental illnesses and that I hurt him. And so instead of getting him the help that he needed, I just let the anxiety get to me. I let the frustration get to me. I let the depression get to me. And I didn't do anything. And see, I went from a really good day to reciting all of these problems and regrets, and now my anxiety's getting up. I wish I had a camera on me because my whole demeanor is completely changed. I'm currently, and I don't know why, rubbing my forehead with two of my fingers, or two sets of fingers, of two, and I'm just doing all I can to just clear my mind, calm myself down, and talk clearly into the microphone and get out what I need to say. So to handle this regret, I've, just as much as I've been busting my ass to get me better, I've been busting my ass to get Landon better. Little America. And he's bouncing back. He's doing really good. He's been really happy lately, and it makes me happy. Here's my next two biggest regrets. One's recent and one's from the past. I regret getting married. I regret not telling anybody about the marriage. I regret how we got married. I regret everything that went on with the marriage. And I regret dating her. I regret not ending ties, and I regret not listening to my fears. I know I just said that I don't need to do that again, but it still doesn't mean I don't regret doing it with her. That I should have just stayed single, waited longer. I regret buying her promises, and I regret believing I could be happy. And that's more of like a self-doubt thing. That's more of a self-worth thing. Like, the thought just creeps in as I'm talking to you about it, about how, like, just a stupid lie that creeps in your head, and it just says, Chris, you thought you actually could have someone that loves you? You thought that you could have somebody that would actually stick it out with you. That's what you thought? What a joke. That's the lie going on in my head right now. That's what that looks like. That's what happens when I start thinking about things and the loop starts. Those are what those anxieties and those thoughts look like. They look like that. They look like, oh man, Chris, did you ever fall for that stupidity all over again? Somebody else told you they loved you and they weren't going anywhere and they're always going to be with you and that they're going to be hard to get. You actually bought that. You actually thought you were good enough for somebody to actually see that through with you. Oh, God, I hate that. Man, I hate that with a passion. And so with the regret there, I have to have acceptance. And I have to accept the fact that at the time, I made a great decision. At the time, I believed and she believed that we were in love enough and that this was going to last forever. And I cannot blame myself for making decisions that's best for me at the time. I have to live my life to the fullest. I have to live my life the best that I can, and I have to make decisions and live by them. And yeah, it sucks that 3 months later she's done, and I wasn't worth it to her, and I wasn't worth fighting for. Again, I'm just another person that I'm not worth fighting for, and I'm not going to go down that road because that's just, God, the stupid lies. Stupid lies. Oh, they're so dumb. And I have to forgive her. And I have to find my self-worth again in myself and not in her. That's how I deal with that regret. Acceptance, self-worth, and just knowing that I did everything right and it just didn't work out. Sometimes you just can't win them all. And it sucks. All right, so here's my biggest regret in my life, or it's one of them. And it's one I rarely talk about. So I'm pretty sure I made mention that I was in the Coast Guard before. Yes, I did, because I told you guys that I got married while I was in boot camp. Well, I didn't get married while I was in boot camp. So I met a girl in boot camp. This was in February 2003, right? Yeah, 2003. Yes. We met. We liked each other. We took the relationship out of the boot camp. We dated until August. She was in New York. I was in Maine. And so we decided to get married. And that's what we did. Young, dumb, and stupid. Lost my virginity to her on her wedding night. Yada, yada, yada. 2 months later, she's in California doing her job training, and I'm in Maine still, and we get into a fight. I called her a selfish bee, and she said she was done, and that was it. That is the story of my less than a year relationship where I met her, fell in love, got married, and divorced, all within under a year. And I was devastated because I never wanted to be divorced. I went through a divorce with my parents, never wanted to do it again. Thought I was saving my virginity for the person I was going to be with the rest of my life. That didn't happen. And I'm in the middle of Maine, a Florida boy in the middle of Maine where it's cold and dreary and wet and foggy and just nobody around, small little town, nobody at your station's your age, you have nobody to relate to, and you're just all alone. And so I was dealing with it hard, and my chief recognized, he pulled me aside, and there wasn't enough to get me into the hospital to bakerectomy, which is called here in Florida, where you have to spend 72 hours. But he did send me to a Coast Guard psychiatrist at the Coast Guard Academy in New London, Connecticut. And so I went down there. I don't remember what happened. I'm pretty sure her and I got into another fight. My anxiety was through the roof. I was alone in a hotel room. And that was when I got my first real suicide ideation. And I wanted to act on it. And so I saw on my way in that there's a whole lot of bridges in New London, Connecticut. Overpasses. I think there was like some sort of like suspension looking bridge, if I can't remember right. There was one long bridge. And so I just started walking, contemplating suicide, and I get to one of the overpasses, and I call her. I tell her I'm going to do it. I'm going to jump. She calls my brother. He calls me. My mom calls me. They're all calling me. I'm not answering any phone calls. I am and I'm not. I'm answering. I'm hanging up. I'm at a crossroads here, guys. I'm standing on an overpass. Well, I'm not on the overpass yet. The overpass had one of those like sidewalks with the high fence. So I was waiting to really work up the balls to go climb up on that side of the fence and get myself out to where I could jump. And I hadn't gotten there yet. And then I start seeing off in the distance, because I'm on this bridge, so I had like a good view of like the city. And I could see that little suspension bridge that I told you about. I don't know if it's a suspension bridge. My brain's a little foggy. Those who live in New London, Connecticut, or been there probably know what I'm talking about. But I see a bunch of cop cars over on that bridge. I see a bunch of cop cars over at another bridge in the distance, and now I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. And so that maybe saved my life. I don't know if I would have ever climbed out there, but I definitely wanted to, and I was working up the nerve to. And so I walked away from the bridge, and I found a little area down a hill, and there was a park down there, and I just kind of hid down there, and then sure enough, a cop car went by that overpass with their lights on, with their spotlight on, looking for me. And I've never been in trouble with the cops. I've never had run-ins with the cops. My only run-ins were a car accident and turning right on a no right turn on red sign. Those are my only interactions with the cop in my entire 20 years of living at that moment. And so I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what they were going to do. And so I talked to my brother a lot. I talked to my mom a lot. They begged and pleaded. And finally, I decided to tell the cops where I was, where they could come find me. Or I told my brother that, and then they passed it on. And so that was my first ever Baker Act. And that led me to multiple others and just not finding my way to dealing with it. And so here's my biggest regret coming up. You'd think it would be that a suicide attempt, but it's not. I was only in the Coast Guard for 1 year. I got processed out because of everything that went on. I would have been medically discharged, but luckily my chief was really awesome, and he said, Chris, you need to go home. You need to be around family. You need to be at home. Like, this is not a good place for you to be, so let's give you a general discharge, and let's get you out of the Coast Guard. Let's get you better. And so I did. And so not only in 1 year was I met somebody, got married, got divorced, I also joined the Coast Guard, went to boot camp, went to my job training, got stationed in Maine, and then I stayed in Boston while they processed me out. And then I was done. Late January 2004. No longer in the Coast Guard. And it's a regret because to this day I feel like I am a huge failure. I feel like I'm a huge quitter. I was supposed to serve my country for 4 years and I couldn't do it. I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't mature enough. I wasn't good enough. And it's so bad that when people ask how long did I serve, I used to say a year, and then I'd tell them I got medically discharged, and then I'd blame something on my heart or something stupid, and then I just got tired of doing that. So now when people ask, I just say, oh, I did the 4 and got out, and they're like, oh, okay. Like, I've distanced myself with so much time that nobody can really cross-reference or see that I was only in for 1 year, and I'm not doing it to steal valor. I'm not doing it to make you say thank you for your service, like, because I don't feel like I deserve any of that. I just do it because I don't want the follow-up question of why I only served a year. And I don't want to have to lie, and I don't want to have to explain it's because I couldn't handle a divorce. And I'm ashamed of it. I wasn't man enough to serve my country. I wasn't man enough to handle a divorce like a mature, grown adult. And, yeah. I'm still obviously working on how to get over that regret. I'm honestly regretting telling you guys. Because I don't want to be viewed as a quitter, and I don't want to be viewed as somebody who stole valor, because I've told some of you that I served 4 years. And honestly, I really don't. Like, I don't tell people I'm a vet. I don't make a big, like, if people ask about my time in the Coast Guard, I really downplay it because I really didn't do anything. I mean, I painted some buoys. I unkinged some buoys. I was at an AIDS navigation team. I helped, work on lighthouses, and I didn't do anything exciting. I didn't stop terrorism. I didn't protect your freedom. I didn't do anything. I washed and painted buoys and maintained them, and that's that. That's it. I fell in the water once. That's about my exciting story of the Coast Guard is I fell into the water in September. Like, it was in September, but it was still 55 degrees in September for Maine, and it was fucking cold. Sorry, didn't mean to curse. I don't know how to do this because I don't know how to improve on quitting your country. I guess I just need to accept it and try to view it in a different light. But I don't know how to do that yet, so I'm going to work on that. So yeah, I was having a good day until I started listing off all my regrets, and now I'm kind of bummed. Great way to end the night. It's 10:04 p.m. I always try to end the show on a positive note. Don't know how I'm going to do that right now. Don't even know where my phone is to end the show. Oh, there it is. Right here where I left it. All right, sorry. Listen, I'm still working hard, guys. If this is the positive note, I'm doing another show or an episode, and I'm just discussing this stuff out with you. I'm discussing this stuff out with my therapist and friends, and I'm still fighting. So the positive note, there it is. I'm still fighting. I'm still doing what I can to make myself better and to make myself whole and complete and to find healing. And I want you to do the same thing. I want you to get better. I want you to find help, whether it's minor depression, minor anxiety, minor whatever it is. I don't know what's going on with you, but if you feel like something's not right, you feel like something's holding you back in your relationships or your work or your kids or whatever it is, trauma, get help, man. Please do it for me. Do it for old Chris America. And we'll fight this together. We'll do this together. Reach out to me. I said I'd probably get an email by this episode. I lied. Haven't done it yet. I'm going to try and get an email address so people who don't have Twitter can message me. I am on Instagram now. I'm trying to post more there. It's the Chris America at the Chris America on on Twitter and Instagram, and the podcast is at Battle Inside Pod, I believe. Is that what it is? Yes, at Battle Inside Pod, all one word. That is the podcast Twitter handle. Please look out for my episodes there. Please share them. I want to make this thing really, really big because I want to help out a lot of people. That's my focus. That's my goal. I want to reach thousands upon thousands of people, please. I want to make this my life mission. I want to make this my life purpose. And if I could be able to quit my job and put all my focus into this and my sports podcast, that would be great. So I need your help with that. Can't do this on my own. So please share. Please tell everybody about this show, especially those that you think need it. We're all just people, man, just going through life the best we know how, and we need each other. We need each other for support. And if you are feeling suicidal, like I was, or having suicidal ideations, please reach out for help. I can't tell you enough how much just sharing my thoughts with other people helped me. And so I got a couple of places for you. You can go if you don't have anybody or you're not there with anybody yet to where you can talk to somebody you personally know. You can call a certified counselor at 1-800-273-8255, 1-800-273-8255. That's the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Or you can go to suicidepreventionlifeline.org. suicidepreventionlifeline.org, suicidepreventionlifeline.org. Or if you're international, you can go to suicide.org, right? That's the website. I swear one of these days I'll be prepared. Nope, that's not it. Or maybe I need to spell suicide correctly. Hold on. I'm pretty sure it's suicide.org. Suicide.org. Yeah, that's the suicide.org is where you list all of the international. Was it? No, this is something else. All right, give me a second while I look this up. Yeah, so you can also go to. Dang it, that's not where I want to go. All right, one of these shows, I promise you, I will be prepared. That's the ADHD last minute, don't put things off kind of crap that I deal with every day that I need to get better on. And, here we go. Yeah, suicide.org. Why is it not coming up like it used to? It used to give me like a whole number or a list of international places, and now it's not. Let me see. That's weird. Yeah, suicide.org. It should give you all the international for all the different countries that's not the United States. I don't know what I'm at right now that it's giving me something different. But anyways, and then there's crisistextline.org, crisistextline.org. You go to that, and there is a phone number with that you can text. You text home to 741-741, home to 741-741, and you can hopefully chat with somebody there. But please get help, whether you need suicide prevention, whether you need help with your anxiety, you need help with your relationship, you need help with your job, you need help with anything that you think you might be going through with your mental health. All I can do is say, get help. Reach out to me again if you need help. I'm not an expert, but I'm a pretty good listener. I'm very good at being empathetic. And I'm good at just commiserating with people. I get it. We're all just trying to make it to the next day. Love you guys. See you on the flip side.